Hi everyone, I'm Sonia. Firstly, blessed New Year to you. I have been in relationship with Jesus from the year 2017, and let me tell you, it's not something that I regret, but it is one of the best decisions of my life that I have made. So this is the channel which is birthed out of that desire. See every person in relationship with Jesus to receive the true love, joy, peace, and everything that is found in Jesus. I am one of the living testimony to tell you that I have found everything in Jesus. Well, the truth is, He found me, and that is when everything shifted in my life. So now, let's get into the video. The Lord will do great things for you. Joel 2:21. This is my promise for the year. Did you receive your promise? Maybe through a promise card, or through church, or maybe your parents would have declared for the year. Did you receive something? Of course, you would have received. If not, quickly go talk to Jesus and find your verse. Anyway, so what is it that I'm going to talk to you about today is, if you have received your promise, what did you do first? Well, the first thing that we do when we receive a promise verse is, immediately we tag that verse to something that's been on our heart or on our mind for a very long time. Maybe a dream or your ambition. But have you ever thought of a minute to just go check with the person who gave that verse to us? That is Jesus, right? So He gave the promise verse to us, but do we ever take a moment to go check with Him? What are you trying to communicate through this verse for me? What is it that you have the plan for me through this verse? Is that something it's related to this particular ambition or this particular dream, or is it something different completely? Let me give you a simple example or maybe a little story. That is, once a father asked the son to go get a product from a particular store. Okay, so now what the son does is, he got the instructions, he immediately starts on walk towards the store, he's going to the store, now he's trying to buy the product. But that particular product is not available in that store. So next he moves to the next store, then the other store, then the other store. So he just goes around. So he goes to certain stores and then finally he ends up getting exhausted and then returns back home. Now, he comes to the father and the father asks him, where is the product? And the son says, I couldn't find the product. Where should I go exactly to go and get it for you? And immediately the father said, this is the store, this is where you need to go. Can you go right now and buy it for me? So immediately the son went, he brought the product and he returned back home. Now, why did I say this? Because the son, what he should have actually done is, once he received the instruction from the father to go get something that the father wanted, he should have actually asked him which store, where should I go exactly, which particular area or whatever it is. He should have asked the details and then he should have gone further to go ahead and buy the product. But he missed out on it. So this is something we always do. So what we do is, we don't get the instruction from the Father directly. Rather, once we receive the promise, we immediately tag that particular promise verse to our dreams and visions and whatever, name it, right? So we just tag it to everything. And then what we do is, when that promise doesn't come to pass, we immediately start to say that the promise did not work. God did not do the promise for me. It's not fulfilled. So this is what we always end up saying. But all that happened just because we did not check with Him as to what exactly He was trying to communicate to that promise was. Let me share you an experience that I have faced in my own life. In my initial days of walk with Jesus, the first thing that I would do is, when I receive a verse, maybe when God is communicating to me something regarding my situations or something regarding my dreams or visions or my life, just my life, okay? So something when He's talking about it, what I would do is I would just tag it, or I would assume, or I would just understand on my own. Maybe this is what God is talking to me about. But I wouldn't even take a step to check with Him as to what He's trying to communicate. One particular verse that changed my entire life, okay? So the way I used to think, how God speaks to me, or maybe how He's trying to communicate to me, it changed only when this particular verse came into my life. That is, there's one verse in Joel which says, return to me, and it continues, okay? So I just try to add it up here. So that particular verse says that, return to me. So what I understood is that something I have done wrong and God is mad at me? Or maybe it's God trying to say that I've gone too far and He's asking me to come back to me. And I started having all kinds of questions and all kinds of doubts, irrespective of what the situation was current. That's when Jesus spoke to me. Baby, you've been struggling hard. You're trying to do it on yourself. This is not what I want for you. Would you please come back to me? Come to my bosom. Let me take care of you. Let me give you the rest that you need, and let's figure it out together. That is what God was communicating to me. But that happened only when I completely let go of what I was trying to understand. And I allowed God to speak to me, and then Jesus spoke to me. And He just very gently told me, come to me. So when He used the verse, return to me, He didn't mean that I was wrong and I had to come back to Him. Rather, He was trying to say that, just come back to me. Let me give you the rest that you need. So that is what He was trying to communicate. And this particular situation and this verse completely changed the perspective of how Jesus sees me and His heart towards me when He is speaking a word. So what do I mean by this? I mean that I used to misinterpret all the verses that He used to speak to me. Not every time, but there are times. That's why He says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Most of the time, what we do is we try to understand by our own. Maybe that's what God is trying to communicate. But today, my gentle nudge for you is, could you please go check with Jesus as to what He's trying to say regarding this particular verse? Is He trying to speak about your dream? Or is He trying to speak about your vision? Or is He trying to speak about your job? Or maybe your spouse? Whatever it is. What I've learned is, once I receive the promise, I don't jump quickly into any kind of assumptions or understanding my own way. Rather, what I do is, I get back to Him. I thank Him for the verse that He has given, and I completely, totally believe that it's going to be fulfilled because He who promised and He who called is faithful, right? So that's what I believe. So once immediately I receive the promise, I pick up my Bible, I read that verse again and again. If I am unable to understand, I just go ahead and I read the entire chapter, then maybe the entire book. So this is how I started doing it. And once I started doing it, so I understand the context behind it, or maybe what exactly happened for God to promise that verse to His people during that time. Or maybe is it something related to my season? So this is what I do. Or rather, I would just keep reading and meditating the entire book or the verse or the chapter, and then finally God starts to do the magic. That is the Holy Spirit. He starts revealing secrets as to what exactly He's talking to me about the promise. Little by little, He starts leading me into it. So now I can boldly say that He just doesn't promise the verse, but He also leads you into the promise. If you have to get to the promise, you have to get back to Jesus. Ask Him as to what exactly He's trying to communicate through this verse. When you start doing that, you will start enjoying and not get exhausted. So if that is you, who quickly jump into conclusions, or if you quickly get into assumption as to this is what God is communicating to me, or this is what God is promising me regarding maybe your future, then it's time. This is a gentle nudge to you. Why don't you go check with Jesus as to what He's trying to talk to you today? What is that promise verse for? What is His plan towards the promise? And what is His heart for the promise to be given to you? So this is something that happened to me. So I don't say that it's the same for you. Why? Because each one of us are created uniquely. You have unique talents, you have unique upbringing, you are completely different from, right? But the God is same. Jesus is same. But would you please speak to me as to what exactly you're trying to communicate through this verse? I don't want to jump into conclusions, or I don't want to jump into assumptions. Rather, I want to rely on you. I want to lean on you and not on my own understanding. So if you can do that today, then this is my prayer for you. That I speak, His promises will be fulfilled in this year for you. So no more delay, no more lags, but it's going to happen only when you ask Him. So get back to the one who gave you the promise. Ask Him, understand, and start taking the little steps that He's asking you to do. And when you do that, you're not going to get exhausted. Rather, you will move forward. Hey friend, give Him the chance to be the one who shows the path towards your promise, rather than we leaning on our own understanding. Until next video, never stop going crazy for Jesus and with Jesus.